just feel that the will of God will always take them, and people don't like the subject matter of gospel. They just feel that the will of God will always take them out of rest. No, that's the lie of the devil. The will of God is going to be always superior to whatever desire you have for yourself. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, I know the thoughts that I have for you, thought of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. The King James Version says, to give you an expected end. Which expected? Who has that expectation? God. There is an expectation that was in the mind of God when He created you. You can trust Him enough. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Now, I am not saying his teachings are wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. Why just Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11? What happened to Jeremiah chapter 1 down to Jeremiah? Sorry, what happened to Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 1 down to verse 32? Why just pick verse 11 and use it to preach or use it to teach? So you see, the problem is this. Now, first of all, if you read that Jeremiah chapter 29 from the beginning to the end, you will understand that God was talking about how it is going to send the Israelites to be captive to the Babylonians. That was what it was being talked about there. And he told them, what resulted to that, the thought I have of you is of good and of peace and of expected end. What resulted to that was, he was telling Jeremiah that, okay, even when I have allowed these people capture you guys, when you people are captive in their own country, after 70 years, after 70 good years, then I will now free you people. You people will now return back to the land which I promised you people. Now that is where he talks about, I have the mind of peace for you people, the thought of peace and of expected end. That was when he talked about that. Then if you continue reading further, it will now tell you that he now went back to keep telling Jeremiah that you people are going to be captured by these people. These people are going to hold you people down. Like, there will be nothing. Like, you people will just be slaves. Since you people don't want to, I will make sure that famine, the sword, and everything is going to fight against you people to take you people down. Now, my question is, why did he use the other part? Why did you pick? Now, these are the problems some unbelievers have with preaching, well, with the Bible. They just, now when they go and read those other parts, now they'll start telling you that, okay, God is, look at what God did to these people. But you as a pastor, if you really believe it is your God, why did you not explain the whole part? Why did you just use just one verse to explain full message, which is not supposed to be so? Now, what I'm here to tell you is this. The whole of Jeremiah chapter 29 has nothing to do with you. That has absolutely nothing to do with you. That is why there's a saying that the Bible is a book for you, but not a book to you. They were not talking about you there. They were not talking about you there when they were talking about captivity, talking about the Israelites. Your own now is to read the Bible and try and know the personality of God. That is what you're supposed to do, to know the kind of person that God is. And even Jeremiah does not tell you who God is. Who told you? Who is going to tell us who God is? Jesus Christ. We know about God through Jesus Christ. All these are reasons why I keep telling you that I am not a big fan of the Old Testament. Because Jesus Christ, which I believed in, which is telling me that He and the Father are one. He said I should love. He said He loves. He said the only commandment is to love your neighbor. And if that is the case, why would they then be destroying, be sending people into captive, be using famine and the sword to kill people, to destroy nations? But that's not even the main thing right here. The main thing is this. if somebody is preaching to you or teaching you and is referencing the Old Testament, you just have to ask yourself, are you really sure? You just have to ask yourself, are you really sure this is what you want to be listening to? And you to try and read this Bible for yourself. Try and, like I said before, I'm not against this teaching. The other part when you talked about the like what God actually wants for us is it's not the will of God for us is not really against it's not really against us. It's the truth. It's the very fact truth. The will of God is not something. It's not suffering. It's not something really bad. But that is another topic for another day. I don't want to talk more about that. But my only problem with this message is the fact that he just picked Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, and he's telling us to abandon the other part. Abandon the other part of Jeremiah chapter 29, which is not true. You are not supposed to even use Jeremiah because God was talking to Jeremiah. And if you are going to go by what that God, if you are going to go by that God, the whole chapter of chapter 9, chapter 29, you want to go by what God is saying in that chapter 9. That God is wicked, though. I ain't going to lie to you. But I know that I don't think that's the God I'm serving. So, well, I'm not telling you what is right and what is wrong. Think about it for yourself. God bless.